this thing is like there's some stories that people tell that would be beneficial for everybody to hear.
I think so. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, it's like,
there's lots of those good stories, and the problem is that unless you're hanging out with that person, you never get to hear those stories.
yeah,
You know, or you hear it second, third hand, and that's never exactly the same. Things have a tendency to get
and it's
embellished.
lost if
Right.
once you're gone and I'm gone. If we don't tell somebody else.
Yeah, that knowledge just disappears, it
Yeah.
evaporates. That's like transferring knowledge.
Or not.
Oh, you're retiring after 60 years? Great, we're going to hire a replacement about 3 days before you retire.
Yeah.
Teach them everything you know.
Train them.
Right.
And that hasn't changed.
How could it? That's like their thing. You watch it happens so often that you don't even get upset about it, right? I mean, you're like, of course that's what happens. Right. Yeah, now this guy's going to take over that guy's job.
Just kind of get used to it.
Good luck, buddy. All right, how do you want to kick this thing off, man?
I'm not sure, but my goal for this is to create free video and audio for people, and I'm not trying to make money or anything.
Right.
I don't think anybody wants to be a YouTube star. And so to me, the reason to do this, the side effect would be to make safer pilots, make instructional video that's free. One thing I noted down here is the professional videos are boring. I mean, I never go back and look at a professionally made flying video.
No,
Even in classes, it's...
I always feel a lot of those are designed... They're designed for a specific purpose, right? They're either designed to get you past the written test, or they're designed to have you understand one specific element of something. Okay. And for what they are, I mean, they're great, because obviously those people are making lots of money, right? And people are very successful using those, using the King set of videos or whatever it is. But I think you're right it's not like anybody wants to go up and record ground school, right? And be like, oh, I'll just record these videos and then I'll know everything I need to know, right? I mean, I'm teaching you to a specific test, whereas when you and I sit down here, we're not talking about necessarily teaching to the test. We're talking about teaching to be a pilot, a whole well-rounded, right? And that's where a lot of these stories can come in. And the reason I portray any stories mostly is so we can view it in a holistic fashion. Like, what are all the things that led up to this situation that I was in? What are some of the good decisions I made? What are some of the poor decisions I made? What have I watched other people do? And how can we take all that and learn from it? And it rarely ever, when you're back up in the classroom and you're talking about airspace classifications, or you're talking about how to use an E6B or stuff, that's just basically rote memorization stuff. And can you dig into it deeper and understand it better? Sure. Yeah, absolutely you can. But in that class, am I going to sit there and talk about why airspace was ever built the way it is, why we have the air traffic control system we have, and how we can effectively work within that? What we need to know to effectively work within it? No, I don't have the time. I mean, quite honestly, and none of those questions are going to be on the test.
Yeah.
So, I have to balance what I do up there with what's the end goal of this class. And the end goal of that class is to get you past test. That's it. I mean, the bottom line is to get you to pass a test. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to accept that that's what it is, right? I mean, that's just the truth of it. Yeah. Because I could sit up there and talk to you for hours and hours about airspace and about all this other kind of stuff. But if it's not going to help you pass the test, then I'm wasting your hours and hours.
Yeah.
And that's not very fair of me. So, while we're sitting down here, what we're talking about is a specific flight. And on a specific flight, now I can get into the weeds and say, hey, look, man, if you would have understood this element of it, this wouldn't have been so confusing. Or maybe you wouldn't have made this decision and you would have thought, and you would have gone a completely different direction. So here's an example of, you know, a time that this has happened to me, or, you know, something that I watched somebody do, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And that's where this kind of stuff, and that's the knowledge you're talking about, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's the stuff
Right.
that nobody's ever going to get, because unless I'm out there holding seminars or something like that, right? How do you ever
Right.
get this information? And, you know, how do you even say, well, I'm going to give you a seminar on my life of flying, or who wants to listen to me?